trouble, 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 trouble.
What's going on, everybody? Bill Mack here with another edition of Pro Wrestling Unleashed. Glad you could join me for this video, folks. In this edition, I give you the GFW Destination X review. This is after the pay-per-view. I know it's a little bit later, but had a chance to get it and make it whenever I could make it. Sorry I couldn't put it up last night, but glad you could join me today. What a wild night. I mean, we had a lot of surprises. There's a lot of returning superstars that used to be in the company come back. One face that we saw somebody get fired. Just a lot going on today and a lot going on. So let's just get right on into the video. We saw the Knockouts Championship match begin the show. It wasn't the very first thing. The very first thing was Mackenzie Mitchell shown in the back. She was going to get some words because Bruce Pritchard was supposed to make his announcement. She was trying to get maybe a kind of good idea on what he was going to say. The door cracked. She said, "What are you doing here?" And then they shut the door and she said, "You won't believe who's here." So, foreshadowing, surprise appearance. And we get on into the, now we have the matchup. We have Sienna taking on Gail Kim. Now, this was a good match. Good match back and forth. Sienna, Gail Kim. Gail Kim started off the match pretty quickly. Then Gail Kim kind of led in, gave some offense. Gail Kim basically was on top of the match. We have an interference from KM. And then lo and behold, while Gail Kim takes care of KM, we have our first surprise of the night right off the top of the show. Taryn Terrell, yes, Taryn Terrell, which is one of my favorites, from the Dollhouse. She ends up hitting a cutter on Gail Kim with the ref is not looking, and then this sets up Sienna hitting the AK-47 for the victory. So Sienna retains her GFW Knockout Championship. They've already given the new belts off. I thought there was going to be some sort of presentation, or I thought that's what Bruce was going to talk about, but they already give the belts out. So I thought this was a good way. Hate to see this interference. Good to see Taryn Terrell back in the show. So we see Bruce Pritchard come out, and he mentions about the title situation with AEP, and he says, you know, he's having to take it. He's going to that he claims that AEP basically relinquished the title, and they were going to have to. He was going to have to. So as the champion goes, so goes the company. So he says during his rights as an executive, he is able to revert the title if he wants to a past champion. So he wants to give it back to Lashley, and I was like, oh, no, not Lashley. He's done had it. But, lo and behold, Lashley's music hits, but Jim Cornette comes out. Yes, indeed, Jim Cornette comes out. He comes to the ring. He sets Bruce straight, lets Bruce know that he's part of corporate. They want him in there running things. Bruce is fired. Bruce gets upset. They escort Bruce out the ring. He says, look, I'm not going to hand the title to just anybody. You don't come to this company. Things ain't going to be run like that anymore. He said, we're going to have them, and if you're going to get something, it's because you've earned it. So next week, we're going to have a 20-man gauntlet match, and the winner of that's going to be the new GFW champion. Well, as soon as he says that, those words leave his mouth, LAX comes out. And you know LAX is upset because Alberto El Patron is not there. He's with his family. And I don't know when he's going to come back. So we see Conan get up in Jim Cornette's face, and he's upset because Low-Key was supposed to fight AEP for the title. So Jim Cornette says, I understand you got the rotten end of the deal. The best thing and the only thing I can do is make you number 20, Low-Key. I know you're in a bad situation. It is, but I'm going to give you the 20th spot. That's the best I can do. So he leaves the ring. We have up next the Super X Cup Finals. This is Desmond Xavier taking on Ishimori. This was more of a ground match. There wasn't a whole lot of flips out, a lot of spots in this matchup. It was a lot of ground game, a lot of technique, a lot of fights, a lot of flips, and whatnot. And there was one point Xavier missed a corkscrew dive onto Ishimori. I thought it was a good. I mean, Desmond Xavier ends up basically hitting a spinning heel kick to Ishimori to win the X Cup, the Super X Cup. Like I said, folks, this was a good matchup with them. So this he was glad he helped Ishimori up. Then he goes and he says he's glad that look out, whoever's got the X Division title, he's going to challenge. So we have the X Cup, the X Division ladder match. Now this here was really, they didn't incorporate the ladders like I hoped. I was very disappointed. The ladders weren't used as much as I was hoping in it being an X Division match, because they can do high flying spots with the ladder, set the ladder up. No, it didn't happen like that. Trevor Lee versus Sanjay Dutt. Like I said, I thought this was a good matchup. I mean, they had that chance to do the best that they could do in this matchup. I was sorely, I thought it was at some points it was okay, but I mean it was just nothing else. Sanjay Dutt started off the match pretty fast. Trevor Lee, once he got outside, got the ladder, that's when the tide changed on him. We see Sanjay Dutt then get on the table. Kevin Conley, just as Sanjay's going up, Kevin Conley ends up powerbombing Sanjay Dutt through a table. So then I'm like, oh, here we go. They're going to let Trevor Lee win it. Well, then out of nowhere, the Canadian Destroyer himself, Petey Williams, makes his return. Yes, I was so happy. When he hit that Canadian Destroyer on Kevin Conley, I was like, there we go. That's what I'm talking about, because I liked Petey Williams when he was with the old TNA. So they're bringing these Taryn Terrell first, and their second surprise, bringing back Petey Williams. Hopefully this is a return for him, not just a one-off. Thought this was a really good match. And then after he hits the Canadian Destroyer on Kevin Conley, Sanjay Dutt and Trevor Lee wind up at the ladder. Sanjay Dutt ends up knocking Trevor Lee off the ladder, landing on top of another ladder, grabbing the belt, steal the X Division champion, Sanjay Dutt. So thought this was pretty good to have in the Destination X matchup. Up next, we had the debut of OVE, which is Ohio versus Everybody, and these two guys were pretty good. Jake and Dave Chris. I thought that it wasn't a very quick match, but it was a hard match. Hard strikes, hard kicks, double teamed. You could see that they're brothers, so you could see that they've worked well together as a tag team. They faced these two guys, Jason Cade and Zachary Wentz. They got the first move of that matchup, but it wasn't a long matchup. I guess it was just to kind of get their feet wet to show you, but it wasn't really overwhelming. But OVE did get the win off of a double kick onto Cade, who Jake knocked off the top rope. Then he hits the double kick on him. So it is what it is. Maybe we'll see some more of OVE as a new tag team in this matchup. So we go to the back. We see Moose and EC3 trying to get a hold of Jim Cornette, who's on the phone trying to set something up for next week. And he had to shrugs them off twice. He asked them what do they want. They're upset to say we should deserve to be in the gauntlet next week. So he said, fine, both of you are. So then we see Eli Drake and Chris Adonis come in. And Eli Drake's talking about that they're looking in the past. They need to reach forward and look toward the future at Eli Drake. And so Jim Cornette agrees with him and says, you know what, I agree with you. But I think what you're going to need to do is to showcase that talent. And I know you got Eli Drake. We're going to make you the number one so that everybody can see it, which, number one's never good. That's the very first one. So doesn't look like Eli might not last long. I hate this because I want Eli to get pushed. He's a good talent with him. He's a good speaker. Push the man some. Like it is, hashtag give Eli a chance. So Eli comes in. So this kind of boils down to the final main event of the night. It was okay. It wasn't explosive like I was hoping. Bobby Lashley was very overpowering this matchup. Seidel was good at reverses. A lot of quickness he showed. But Lashley was Lashley held him up at one point for like 15 seconds. Even at 10 seconds with one hand while he held him up in the air before he did a backdrop on him. But he just showed his overwhelming strength. And I thought it was a pretty good matchup, at Bobby displaying, his sheer talent. but as we come to see, it was going to be balanced out at somewhere. And like I said, Seidel had certain points that he was able to pick up. We see the ending kind of sets up Lashley we see at some point Lashley goes out and gets a chair. He gets frustrated because as much as he's overpowering Seidel, Seidel kicks out. Seidel doesn't give up. So he goes in to get a chair. The referee tries to grab it. Lashley snatches the chair. Seidel kicks the chair, hits Lashley with it. Then Lashley goes for a spear. He misses it. And Seidel gets a roll-up pin. Because he tries to get that 450 splash thing that he does, the shooting star press, but Bobby gets his knees up. So Seidel wins with a roll-up pin. I mean, what's the deal with a roll-up pin? I mean, that's getting to be the norm now with a lot of these matches, roll-up pins. But anyways, that's how it was. Bobby had came to the arena with American Top Team, so they were in the front row. They were not happy at all about this. Or, Brian Hebner come out there, and he and Seidel were coming down the side. They were about to go up the ramp. One of the guys from Bobby Lashley's team, American Top Team, which is his MMA training team, choked the referee. And the referee's face was red, and he was upset. And Bobby looked like he was in shock that this was happening. So let's just see what happens there. They keep pushing this. Bobby's got to decide which he's going to do. So I think this is the angle that they're going to do something here, and he's going to choose one way or the other. This is probably where they're going to go and see. We're going to see what Bobby does. So Bobby's showing this. We end up seeing, hearing Josh say, what video package? What video package? So they run the video package. Lo and behold, former John Morrison, former Johnny Nitro, former Johnny Mundo. Now he's Johnny Impact. So he should be making his debut next week, which is shocking to see him wrestle because his no contract isn't ended with Lucha Underground unless they reach some sort of agreement. Go ahead and let him. But he's supposed to make his appearance next week. Now, we did, and just a side note here, folks, the Pope looks like he's done with it. I guess the negotiations didn't work in his favor, and he said he was going to leave the show. But I think the show's going to be okay with Josh and Jeremy Borash running it because they've been doing okay. As long as they don't do this heel back and forth feud, I'm fine with the commentary because both of them can do it. It's just they got to do it together to make it work. So, surprises, returns, a gauntlet match set up for next week on Impact, which is going to be a big show, folks. We'll see if Taryn Terrell, what she has to say, if Petey Williams is going to return, what Jim Cornette has in store for next week. So I thought the show was pretty decent. Give it a C+, B-. I'll give it in that, at least that high of a rating, just because I thought they were actually trying to do better now. So I hope you've enjoyed my video. If you do, if you're on YouTube, please like my video, subscribe to my channel. Like I said, if you're on VidMe, then upvote this video and follow me. I'm trying to get my followers up. So until next time with Pro Wrestling Unleashed, this is Bill Mack saying, take it easy.